Hi, everyone. It is Sarah back with you today with my latest installment in my Outschool video series. About a year ago, I posted a blog post and a YouTube video kind of detailing Outschool, my experience with it, both as a parent and as a teacher. And so many things have changed and evolved, both for myself as a teacher, for Outschool as a company, that I really felt as though I needed to come back and update everyone. I'm going to update my blog post with the most current information, my recent experiences, how I feel about everything 1 year later. And then I've also decided to do just a short video series, kind of helping teachers who are first starting out. I get many emails, especially through YouTube and through my blog, asking me about some best practices to get started, looking for advice, what you need to be successful on the Outschool platform. And I've done my very best to respond to all of those questions and emails and comments. But I think this might be an easier format, so that, I can kind of get my thoughts all organized and together for all of you. And for all of you watching, you can come back to this information and kind of skip and pick out the parts that are relevant for you. Okay, so how do I get started on Outschool? This is probably my most common question that I get. People kind of stumble across Outschool or my review of Outschool based on some of my other educational posts that I have. And they say, hey, this is right up my alley. I'm a teacher or a former teacher. I'm a homeschool parent. I have something I'm really passionate about. How can I use that to explore these topics with students on this online platform? Okay, so first things first, let's talk bare minimum basics. Okay, what do I need to get started on Outschool? You need a great internet connection, because all of our classes, for the most part, are online, live, using the Zoom platform, which I'll talk more about shortly. So you do need a stable, solid internet connection. If I know many of my friends are out in the country, they live in rural areas. If internet is an issue for you, that may be something that a hurdle that needs to be overcome before you can begin on Outschool. So stable internet connection. You will need a webcam. For the most part, if you have a laptop, a desktop, you will have a webcam built in. I use an external webcam just because I prefer it to the one that's built into my Mac. But the one that I use is only about $35, so you don't need one that is super expensive, even if you choose to go the external route. So internet, webcam, a good headset. Again, these are not super expensive. They're actually meant for gaming. I found them on Amazon. They were about $25, but you are going to want to have a microphone that you can adjust, because sometimes that can be an issue when you are speaking with your students. And you're going to want to be able to hear really well. Even with a fantastic set of headphones, sometimes student connections are not great, and I have some issues hearing. So you're definitely going to want a decent headset. I would not recommend earbuds. I know many teachers do use earbuds, and that's a personal preference. I like the big bulky headset so that it drowns everything else out. Also, you don't need this, but I would strongly recommend a mute button on your headset. You have a coughing fit, you have a child who runs into the room, your dog starts barking like a crazy person, which is usually what happens at my house. You want to be able to use your mute button. You have a mute function on Zoom. But then the students can kind of see that you're muting and unmuting, and sometimes that can be distracting. Again, that's a personal preference. Now that I've had it for more than a year, I don't know that I could live without my mute button being right there on my cord. My volume is also on my cord, which is really super duper handy. So those are kind of your three basics in terms of actually functioning as a teacher on Outschool in order to participate in the live online classes. Strong internet, a good webcam, whether built-in or external, and a good headset. Okay, so that's bare minimum. You also will need to be able to use the Zoom platform. This is actually pretty easy. If you've had any kind of interaction with Skype, with FaceTime, any kind of live video service, you should be able to figure out Zoom very, very quickly. It's all right there on the screen for you. When you are onboarded with Outschool, they will set up a meeting and show you how to use all of the different functions. There's a chat box, there are breakout rooms, and they will go over all of that with you. But that's always something I like to tell prospective teachers. If they're kind of iffy on that technology, maybe this isn't the right platform for you. So that's something I always tell teachers up front. You're going to want to be able to use Zoom. And you can actually log into Zoom for free right now. And play around with it and just kind of get a sense of what it can and cannot do. But I promise if you've ever FaceTimed, you'll be able to use it. It's pretty easy. Okay, so after we've gotten through all of those technical things, okay, that's the easy part. Here's what you really, really, really need to get started on Outschool. Okay, I started with the easy stuff first. Here's what you need. You need to have a passion. Okay, you need to have a passion. You can be a trained teacher. You can be a retired teacher. You could have never taught anything ever. But you need to have a passion. And why I stress that is because there needs to be a reason that people are coming to see you. Why are they coming to you? Why are they coming to your class? I am a language arts teacher by trade. So I am licensed to teach reading, phonics, writing, theater, journalism. Those are really basic things, though. I am self-aware enough to know that language arts teachers are a dime a dozen. That doesn't mean they aren't fantastic. I'm a fantastic language arts teacher. I know many fantastic language arts teachers. But why are you going to go to this specific teacher for this specific class? The very first class I ever designed is my Fun with Phonics course, and it's for young students, preschool to about kindergarten, who are still learning basic decoding skills. And this is just a bare bones phonics decoding class. What makes it different? Here's what makes it different for me. I use a puppet. I bring my dog Rosie down, and quite literally we sing a song with my dog Rosie. She's still a puppy, so the kids eat it up. We do all kinds of goofy things, and it's different. It's not sitting down and saying A says ah. We can say that all day long, and there is research to back that up in terms of an educational strategy. However, the 5 and 6-year-old at home sitting in front of the computer or the laptop is not going to connect with that. They're not going to connect the same way that they would if they were sitting with you in a classroom, if they were sitting with you in an intervention setting. I have done most of my teaching career working with intervention students, and I'm used to having a child sit next to me. We read together, and that's my instructional strategy. That doesn't work here. This is an entirely different teaching strategy because all of my teaching is going on right here. In the classroom, that's not the case. I'm walking, I'm pacing, I'm animated in a different way. Here, all of my teaching is going on in a very small square. So that's why I stress passion. Because if you are passionate about something, that's going to come through the screen, no matter what. Far and away, my most popular course right now is Hamilton. I teach a 6-week course on Hamilton the musical, and I am, and I say this lovingly, a huge theater geek. Love theater. I can talk to you about Hamilton all day long. And I'm fangirling out with my students in the classroom, and that's why it works. We're talking to each other in Hamilton quotes, and, we're laughing about different ships, different relationships that people want the characters to have. You have to be passionate about it. That is going to speak well beyond any educational strategy you may have used. And it can be a little bit difficult for those of us who are used to a classroom setting to get beyond that. It took me 6 months, I'd say, 6 months to really feel as though I hit my groove teaching in this way. And now it's second nature. Now I can speak to the camera as though I were speaking to a classroom full of students, and it's very, very natural. But it took a long time. So that is my number one thing that Outschool teachers need, is you need to be passionate and, of course, knowledgeable. I assume that comes with it. If you are not knowledgeable about your topic, it's not going to go well. Things will go south very, very quickly. So my final tip for things that you need. Okay, I'm going to do another video on frequently asked questions and kind of go into some of the other more specific, category-specific questions, but this is kind of the overall, what do I need just to get started? Is this a good fit for me? Okay, so you need those technical aspects, you need a passion, and you need a plan. You need a plan. I think that is probably the biggest issue I know I had as a new teacher. For those teachers who are not successful, that's kind of what I'm seeing happening for them as well. They don't have a plan. You need a plan for what content you're going to deliver. So are you going to teach a little bit of everything? Are you going to teach kind of a more broad category like language arts? Are you only going to teach a very, very small section of things? Say you are a fantastic knitter. I'm learning to knit myself right now, which is why that came to mind. So maybe you're only going to teach fiber arts, or you're only going to teach sewing. That's all of those things are great, whether you're teaching everything or whether you're teaching a very, very small category. You still need to have a plan, because how are you going to teach it? How is it going to stand out? And how are you going to reach your audience? That's really where things start to get tricky, I think, for a lot of new teachers. Because even when you think you have a plan, it's probably going to change. I know my plan has changed And again, it was right around that 6 month mark, somewhere in the 4 to 6 months, where I really felt like, okay, I really know my audience. And I know what my plan is, and I know how I'm going to handle some things. So have a plan for how you're going to quite literally structure your classes. Have a plan for how you're going to get yourself out in front of your audience. Are you going to advertise? Do you have a website? Do you have a Facebook page for your teaching business? And then how are you going to hone in on your audience? How are you going to meet their needs? And that's the part that's probably going to be the most fluid for you as things progress and you continue on your journey with Outschool. As you become successful, as some of your classes become more successful, you'll be able to see, here's my niche, here's my audience. These are the students who really enjoy my classes. Maybe not this group, maybe this group. Or, and this has been the case for me, maybe I thought I would enjoy teaching this group, but really I enjoy teaching this group. And you need to have a plan to kind of roll with that and figure out what your next steps are. Okay, so that was just kind of a very short, hopefully to the point, just quick rundown of what you need to get started. So again, you're going to need a strong internet connection. You are going to need a good headset and a webcam. And then the two biggest things, you are going to need a passion and you're going to need a plan. Outschool has been an absolute joy for me, truly an occupational blessing. And I've been so lucky to work with the students that I have over this past year. So I hope that all of you who are considering Outschool and considering becoming a teacher on Outschool, I wish you all the best, and I hope that you are very, very successful. Until next time, everybody. Bye.